Own your life.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Again, we've got a very special presentation from Matt Ashby, who's going to introduce himself and give a little bit about his history. But he has been very successful with EXP and has a lot to share about what the brokerage is and does and can do for you. For example, living whenever you want in Mexico is kind of part of the options. Like I said, we've got a great cross section here, everything from agents that are brand new and going through the training, about to write their exam, to agents that have been licensed for only a couple months. And then we got a couple, well, I'm probably the vet here at 5-6 years here, maybe along with Jordan and Courtney. But yeah, we're really excited. Thanks again for your time for this. We are learning so much about EXP today, guys, and how it can benefit you. And it's pretty tremendous. Matt is a true professional at this, and he's going to really explain it in depth. And hopefully we got a bit of time afterwards for a couple of questions as well.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Well, thank you for everybody here for your time. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Dan, for lining this up. I'm going to keep it really brief because today's not about me. It's about EXP. But I got my dad was licensed in 1984, grew up in a real estate families with Remax for years and years. Got licensed in 2014 and started in commercial real estate. Started a team. I'm based out of just outside of Toronto, Ontario. And then my dad brought me EXP, and I don't think I looked at it for about 2 weeks. Okay, I was really happy where I was. I had a really good flow of what was going on. And when I actually sat down and finally took a look at it, it really started clicking for me, making a lot of sense. And so I ended up wanting to bring this to Canada. This is back when the company had about 500 agents total in 2015. Met with the founder of the company, met with the CEO, or actually he was the president at the time, Jason Gessing, and wanted to launch this into Ontario. And so I had to wait 2 years, which was awful because I knew where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do with this company. And in 2017, myself, my father, and another broker out of Ottawa launched EXP Realty into Ontario. And then pretty well, we've helped open up every other province in Canada. BC was next, Quebec, obviously the Maritimes, and everywhere in between. And it's just been a crazy ride. So I still sell a lot of real estate. I still have a team in London, but now we're actually taking this brokerage and going international. So starting a real estate team down in Mexico right now. My team currently expands nine countries and 1,500 active agents. So it's been just a whirlwind of the last 4.5 years. So that's my background. I've been here basically from the beginning in Canada. So I'd love to, as we're going through the presentation, write down some questions, love to answer them at the end of this. And if I don't know the answer, I will definitely get the answer for you by the end of the day. So I'm going to share my screen here. Perfect. Thanks, sir. All right. So I'm going to just start from here. And what's really cool about this brokerage is that it is it truly is the future of real estate, and you'll see there's something for everyone here. Whether like you're just writing your license or getting your license, whether you've been in it for a few years and you're looking for ways to increase production and get some hands-on coaching and training. If you're looking to, sorry, somebody's coming in. If you're looking to take your career to the next level, or if you're looking to build a team, there's literally something for everybody here. And it's something drastically different than you'll see at any other typical franchise model or independent brokerage. So we'll jump right into it and we'll get started. So we're going to cover 3 things. So the EXP story, from humble beginnings to the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the world, our business model, and then the 3 wealth building pillars that we offer.
Okay,
So the evolution of real estate all started with the independents, then went to the trust companies, and then the franchises came in the 70s, all right, 70s and 80s. You probably recognize a lot of these names. And then what happened was the team factor started. It was actually Gary Keller with Keller Williams who really started pushing the team portion of real estate. So yeah, here we have the franchise. The models came in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Then the team started really taking place. Okay, and you'll see that everywhere now, where teams started personally branding themselves, having even their own office space, doing their own thing, even running their own trainings. And then what happened was that really kind of backfired at the franchise level, because leaders started realizing, why am I paying all these franchise fees? And then moved into opening up their own brokerage, opening up the boutique brokerage. Then EXP is that new business model in the 21st century using technology that's now attracting previous franchise owners, teams from franchises, and we've now had hundreds and hundreds of boutique brokerages shut down and merge on our platform, and we'll get into that in a little bit as to why. So our founder, Glenn Sanford, it's our Canadian claim to fame. He's actually from Alberta, but he did move down to Washington when he got into real estate. He's a tech genius, and he really focused on lead generation software back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He led multiple Keller Williams teams in multiple cities. And as we all know, or we should all know, being in real estate, that in 2008, the housing market crash happened in the United States. And Glenn realized that top producers were hardly ever coming into the office. Okay. The only people he had in the office were the admin that he had there, or the furnishings, and he had all this crazy overhead and was paying franchise fees. So he put on his tech brain. And in 2009, he launched eXp Realty, the first cloud-based brokerage with only 25 agents. Now, this is what's taken place, okay? In a very short period of time, 500 agents in 2015 is when I learned about it. 2017, when I brought it to Canada, there's about 2,500 agents, and it has just skyrocketed to over 80,000 agents in 21 countries and become the fastest growing real estate brokerage in history. And there's a reason why, or at least why I ask myself if I were going to be doing due diligence on our brokerage, why is it that we've become the fastest? And it really comes down to the agent value proposition that we offer to our owners. Okay, this is just my dad and Gene, Frederick, Rob Flick. These are all people that would be part of your team to help support you. Gene and Rob helped build Keller Williams for 20 plus years. Used to be regional owners. This is my father, Patrick. I actually took this picture. This is an event that we went down to Mexico. We actually have a ton of fun at EXP. We have a shareholder summit coming up in June down in Orlando. We're taking over Universal Studios. So lots of fun stuff going on. So what we're doing is changing the mindset of realtors to thinking that, like business owners, we're building a business instead of a career. And we have two very unique things at EXP. Those are stock and revenue share, and both are willable assets, which is something very unique to our business model. So we're attracting a lot of top caliber agents and teams in Canada. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but we actually introduced Donna. She used to own 6 RE/MAX franchises, then open up Keller. She's now the broker record for Quebec. Randy out of Abbotsford, top RE/MAX prior to coming over to EXP. Wayne Jewell, Southern Group franchise owner. Derek Gillette. Anyways, I'm going to fly through these because that's not what this is about, but this is why we've become the fastest growing real estate brokerage in history. And what it comes down to is we become owners in our brokerage. Okay. And so we'll just touch on international expansion really quick. This gentleman, if you have been around EXP or if you've Googled EXP, you've probably heard this name, Michael Valdez. For 17 years, he opened up over 70 countries for Century 21 Sotheby's Caldwell Banker. And just 2 years ago, he became the president of international expansion for eXp Realty. Now, why does that matter? Because if you're going to earn equity in a brokerage, you want to know where the company is going. In a very short period of time, we now have 21 countries open, and you'll see why that can actually have an impact on your business as we get into it. So let's get into why we're extremely different than any other thing that you've ever seen before. So our business model. I don't even think I have to explain this slide. In fact, I don't even know why it's in here. Blockbuster, Netflix, Sears, Amazon. Technology has changed industries. And I felt like I always knew there was going to be something that is going to come in and rock the real estate industry, but I knew it wasn't going to be e-signature. Okay. And now we have EXP, but the brick and mortar locations is very expensive, lots of overhead, and there is nothing wrong with any of these brands. They're all fantastic in their own right, but they all have something in common. Okay, the common denominator is that they were all built prior to the internet being a thing or a smartphone being a thing. In fact, they were built prior to the fax machine being a thing. Okay, so now we have EXP coming in, and it's become the brokerage business innovator and disruptor of recently. So how a traditional real estate model works is a master franchise. They don't sell real estate, they sell regions. So they find regional owners, then regional owners don't sell real estate, they go out and they sell franchises in that region. And that franchise then goes out and recruits real estate agents. So it's been like this since day one, since the 70s and 80s. And so what ends up happening is the money flows from the agents to the broker owners to pay for the overhead. They have to make a profit. Regional owners take their cut as well. And companies, for example, I won't use their name, but like, the Big Balloon, they're publicly traded. So they have to make a profit at the top for their institutional investors. Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, all publicly traded companies. Okay. And so what's happened here is that the money flows only one way up and has to go pay for all these levels of brick and mortars. Very interesting fact. If you're new to real estate, you may not understand it fully yet, but if you work for RE/MAX regional headquarters, you get things like maternity leave, sick days, stock options, health benefits, all things that you do not get as an independent contractor, as an agent. Yet who is the one that is fueling all of this? It's the agents with the relationships they have with their clients. So our founder came in and said, we're not going to be a franchise. That's old school. We're going to be one big company with a virtual headquarters. So we don't need these regional owners and all the brick and mortar overheads. We don't need the franchise owners and all the brick and mortar overhead. We're going to collapse this traditional real estate model and put the agents right underneath the company. So what it does is by flattening it, gives us great cost savings that benefits you directly. Okay, but it also allows us to then go and take that money and go invest in other things that are going to help our agents. Things like Showcase IDX, which is lead generation. Verbella is a tech company. Success, if you're not familiar with Success, lots of personal development and coaching, which we'll get into in a little bit later. So at the end of the day, you get really good splits, lower fees, free lead generation. You get to earn equity in the parent company and also share in the company revenue. So that's something that you like. If you're not familiar with Regus, they are the largest co-sharing work office space company in the world. You can Google them, Regus, search for the location. We all get, as an EXP agents or brokers, a free membership to Regus worldwide. You can use their coffee, Wi-Fi, use their office spaces. If you want to rent a boardroom or anything like that, then there is a nominal fee for it, but it's typically serviced by somebody who brings muffins and coffee and all that stuff. So if you have a big presentation, you could use it for that. So this is where it gets pretty crazy. So this is our EXP world. Now, prior to learning about EXP, nobody had heard of what's called the metaverse. Turns out that we've been working in the metaverse since 2009, and now it just has a name for it. This is the craziest thing. I came from commercial. I was suit and tie every day in the office. And so when I first saw this, I was a little taken back, but it started making a lot of sense. So you can walk right up to Joshua and say, hey, Joshua, how are you? I have a question about my last stock award I just earned. Hey, he'd say, hey, Matt, great. Why don't you head over to accounting and talk to Sheila? And you walk right over and talk to Sheila, and she would tell you all about it. So we have all of our meetings here, large scale international meetings, daily trainings, information sharing, and lots of team collaboration, all through the power of technology. But where most people get this incorrect is that we are a full service real estate brokerage. So everything you've been accustomed to, instant access to brokers, admin, tech, and accounting. We take trust deposits through our phone because checks are so outdated and crazy that we're still using them. If you have a client and you're picking up a deposit check, you typically at a franchise have to walk over or drive over to the office, drop off that check, and then the admin person there takes that check and brings it to the bank. Why not just be able to deposit that check right into the bank using technology? And that's what we do. Take a picture of the front and the back, goes right in. And we also offer incredible health benefit plans, different packages for different families and different with people with different needs. So really an agent-centric and agent-focused real estate brokerage. Okay, our three pillars of wealth building. One is production, because that is why we got our real estate licenses, to sell real estate. So we're going to teach you how to sell more real estate, how to continue selling real estate, how to build our referral business. 2, while doing that, you're going to become an owner in a company. You're going to earn stock and stock awards, and we call it the Realtor pension plan. And revenue share is completely optional, but the company will show you how to make a bit of a passive income if that's something that you're remotely interested in. So number 1 is increasing production. We have free training and coaching for all of our agents. Now, at a typical office, and just to let everybody know, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing, but we're just radically different. So I'm not picking on any one brokerage or model. We're just so different that you can't compare apples to apples. So we have a top tier award at eXp Realty called Icon Agent. So if you're familiar with Century 21, it'd be similar to like a double Centurion Award or a Royal LePage, like a Chairman's Club Award or whatever. So ours is called Icon. Now our Icon agents produce 80 hours of live weekly training for all of our agents. So it's not about the quantity of the training, it's about the quality, because now you can log in and you can learn from somebody who's selling 300 homes a year in Miami, somebody in Denver, somebody in Toronto, somebody who does pre-construction, multifamily, whatever it might be. Now, why do these very busy agents give back time? One, mainly because they get incentivized by the company through stock. Okay, so they give back their time to be able to train. So the way I see it is that, if you're an agent, you can jump into our training, interactive, live, and then be able to pull all these golden nuggets from top producers from all over North America. That level of collaboration has never been done before. We're the first brokers to do it. They're interactive, it's effective. You can ask questions, there's role playing, there's all different types, there's scripts that you can save and use. It's really powerful. And of course, we record a lot of the sessions because, family, kids, timing, friends, sometimes you may not be able to attend a live class, so we record them. Lead generation. Basically, we have something called KV Core. Okay, KV Core is a third-party website, CRM system. If you wanted to go buy it right now, feel free to Google it. It's about $9,000 a year just to have the CRM system. Okay, I think it's $1,000 initial setup and $499 a month or something like that. At eXp, we've redirected those funds from commercial landlords and leases like brick and mortars so that we can provide agents with very powerful lead generation tools and systems. And what we get is KV Core. You get to sell more real estate, a personal website, and it uses artificial intelligence, behavioral automation. We do free training on setup, as well as there's tons of training with the eXp World. So when you combine world-class training and coaching combined with technology and lead generation and the best you can get, you're going to sell more real estate. It's at the end of the day. So this is, people may know him, Thomas Calla. He's actually on my eXp team. His first year in real estate, combination of Icon training and coaching, as well as KV Core. He actually sold over 50 homes his first year and became an Icon agent himself, and now gives back time in the eXp world to other agents looking to inspire and create the next generation of leaders in real estate. Stock and wealth building pillar number 2. So we are publicly traded on the NASDAQ. Our ticker is EXPI. eXp World Holdings is our parent company, and then it owns eXp Realty, Verbella, which is a 3D virtual world, Showcase IDX, which is a new lead gen, and Success Magazine. As agents at eXp Realty, we earn stock in the parent company. Okay, so we just acquired this company, Success Magazine, Success Inc. If you're not familiar with it, it's one of the oldest brands in the world. Tony Robbins' son, Jarek Robbins, is the new president of this company, and they've already got podcasts lined up with Lady Gaga, Tim McGraw. They're going to revive this whole brand and become that 800-pound gorilla in the space again, and they're putting a lot of money into it. But why is that great for us? Because when I sell my first home at eXp, I earn shares in the company. Okay, so this is pretty exciting. This is how the stock works. Now, this is an overview. I'm more than happy to answer questions afterwards, but if you wanted to do a deep dive or cost analysis, if you're already selling, feel free to reach out to Dan or I or whoever invited you to this, and we'll get that to you. So how we earn stock equity awards. Every year you close your first deal at eXp Realty, you're going to earn shares in the company. When you cap out, so for new agents, you're typically on a certain split, and then when you hit a certain amount of gross commission income, you then go to a different split. So we call it capping out. At eXp, we start at an 80-20 split. Once we make 80,000 in gross commissions, we go to 100% for the remainder of your anniversary year. So when you cap out each year, you're going to earn another $400 year stock award. And if you help contribute to the growth of the company, if you attract an agent over to the company who closes their first deal, you're going to earn shares in the company. This is each and every year. Okay. Now, is it going to retire you? Maybe in 20 years, but well, it's just a nice gift from the company for doing things we already do in real estate. A bit of a catch on this, there are vesting periods. So it's awarded to you, but you can't cash it out for 3 years, which typically most billion-dollar companies do that. Like Tesla, you can earn stock options, but you can't touch it for a certain amount of years. Agent equity program. This is by far my favorite one. If you like, you can take 5% of your gross commission income and roll it into purchasing our stock at a 10% discount. So 10% off the public price. I call it forced savings. It's on a $10,000 commission. You'd be taking $500, purchasing our stock at a 10% discount. Completely optional. You can cash out anytime. No vesting. Just another benefit for our shareholders. And then our Icon Agent Award. If you do a decent amount of business and you think you'd be close to an Icon Agent Award, reach out to us. We'll do a cost analysis. Our cap that we pay into the company is $16,000. So that's the 80-20 split up to 80,000 GCI. Our top producers, to make it short, earn back that $16,000 back in company stock, and in return, they provide training to our agents. Okay, so very, very powerful. So when you run the numbers, we call this, I think this alone could be a disruptor on itself, let alone with the revenue share. Because the big thing is you can work at RE/MAX for the next 20 years, Realty the next 20 years, Century 21 the next 20 years. And at the end of the day, we call it leasing, because you are leasing your brokerage. At eXp, you actually become an owner and earn equity. And it's what we tell our clients. Okay. So wealth building pillar number 3 is the revenue share, passive income and early opportunities. This is simply how it works. Not going to spend too much time on this. If somebody would like to learn more about this, they can reach out to me directly or Dan, and we can share with them how it works. But it's good for you to know a little bit about our model and why we're growing so quickly. So what happens is on the 80-20 splits first 80,000, then the agent receives 100%. Out of the 20% that goes to the company, we don't need all that money because of our model. So we decide to split it with all of our shareholders who happen to be our agents. So on $10,000 gross commission, while that person's capping out, 80% would go to the agent, 10% goes to the eXp corporate, 10% gets put into a revenue share account. That only stays in there for 1 month. Okay, and it gets shared back to all the other agents who help contribute to the growth of the company. It's paid back through these 7 tiers. It's very similar to the Keller Williams model, but we're not income and expense. We are revenue share, so that it's not even close to the Keller Williams model. But it also was what made Keller Williams the largest franchise in the world, and now we're becoming the largest eXp Realty model in the world, I guess. There's nobody else to compare us to. So, long story short, if you introduce 10 agents at 3.5%, you earn that. You get that from the company dollar, not from their commissions. So easily 10 times 2,800. Everybody can do the math here. It can be a powerful passive source of income just for help contribute. What's really unique about this is that we are one open book. So you can actually go see our financials, okay, and take a look and see how everything's recorded. When I got started in Ontario, my goal was just to make enough money to basically pay for my ad spend so I could sell more real estate. And so I introduced 10 agents, turned into a team of 58. Out of the 58 agents here that were doing closings on the way to their cap, that month, eXp paid me $8,300. That's not stock, that's not vested, that's commissionable income put right into my bank account, just like a commission. Pretty powerful stuff considering the 10 agents I introduced, 8 of them were not even in my local town. 2 of them were in the US, some were in BC, some were in where were we? Ontario. They were all over the place because we're one big company. Okay, and that's why when I say we're open in 21 countries, well, one of the guys I'm down here working with, I'm introducing him to EXP Mexico, and I'm going to earn revenue share from the production of him and his team. Okay, everything's done in real time. You can see exactly where it's tracked, the amount given to the agents, the revenue share, and pretty cool. So we do, real estate professionals do 2 things, listings and buyers. Working with your sellers, working with your buyers. At the end of the day, it's trading time for money. If you've been in the real estate conversation for long enough, you'll probably hear a couple different sayings. One is you're only good as your last sale, okay? Because you only get paid once on that. The second is list to last. You need to get listings to last in this business. What we offer on the back end on our brokerage model is stock ownership and revenue share. So these are things that build assets for you and your family's future. They are willable, which is super, super important. They're only available at eXp Realty because of our real estate model. John Cooper says the best. I'm a business person with a real estate license, and there's no better opportunity in real estate than eXp Realty. Okay, just to finish off here, guys, a couple testimonials, people on my team to show you how powerful this really is. We call this the trading time for money column. Okay, these are, list a house, buy a house, list a house, buy a house, repeat year after year after year. And we call these the wealth building pillars. So these are different stock earned. These are monthly revenue share payments that have been paid out. And you can see they're just all relative to how what you put into it is what you get out of it. So very, very exciting, really unique things, but this is definitely very real and why we've become very powerful. We've also created a plan for those who are interested to create a 3-year business plan to create a $100,000 a year per year passive income stream. If you have any interest in that, we can send that over to you. We do coaching and training on that if it's something that you want to participate in. So the world becomes your market when you join EXP. And this is where it gets really exciting. This is the second last slide, and then I'll open it up for questions. I'm not even sure about the time, but just rocking and rolling. So Keller Williams, 184,000, Remax, 140,000. And we're just getting started. Okay. Now, Michael Valdez, the gentleman I introduced you to at the beginning of this call, or during the guy for international expansion, he believes we are going to become a very big powerhouse in this real estate space because of our technology and because of our agent value proposition. He says that there's about 20 million realtors worldwide. Okay, and our company goal is 5% market share, which is 1 million realtors. Now that sounds crazy to think that Remax has 140,000. They're very well known. Keller 184. Where's the difference in EXP? Is that out of those 20 million realtors, a lot of them are independents. Now, why would an independent come over to EXP? Well, one, they're never going to buy a franchise if you're independent, because that's the way they didn't want to go. But as an independent, they can merge with us, keep their branding, and be able to build a global business. Okay. And at the end of the day, it's an 80-20 split on your first 80,000. That basically pays for, the 80 hours of live weekly training, your KV core, all that stuff, and then $139 a month. When you get started with us, you get 1,000 free business cards, some folders, a pin. And because of the way the revenue share model is set up, you're going to actually see who is, if you will, in your upline, I guess. And those people now have a vested interest in your success. So you have now 7 people who have a vested interest in your success in selling real estate, putting you into the right trainings, helping you stay motivated, helping you become accountable, and point you in the right direction, which is really cool. And they can definitely help you get set up and started on the right track. So that is a lot. We are moving this presentation to make it less, because if you're brand new to real estate, we are a little bit more complex. Then here's your split and fee and sell for us, and that's it. We are more complex because we offer you more in the form of stock and revenue share and lead generation and different things. So if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you just had a sip out of a fire hose, that's okay. Just digest it and then do your next form of due diligence. And we happy to have you on board. So I can open up to questions, or Dan, if you have any questions, or if you want to moderate, or I'm happy to answer.
I got a question for you,
Perfect.
Matt, and I guess I've asked Dan this question as well. So I'm a new agent. I'm like quite new in the business, and I'm wondering, like, how do I try to get new, like, other agents who have been in the industry longer, or new agents who don't have who are coming into the business as well. I'm just like, maybe it's a lack of confidence, but I feel like I'm not sure how to get them in, like, to try to show them EXP and convince them that I would be the one to join with.
Yeah, well, we got something really, really exciting that's going to help out. So it's going to be a two-part answer to this. One, if you're showing somebody EXP, they don't really care about your business. They care about their business and how it's going to affect them and their family and their lives. So being new, yes, it's the number one thing that new agents say is, how do I get that person who's been selling real estate for 10 years? Use somebody in your upline who has that experience. Guaranteed 7 tiers above you, there's somebody who sells a lot of real estate or is quite influential. Use them and say, hey, I'm partnered with Dan, or I'm partnered with Matt Ashby, or I'm partnered. Give them a bit of their story. Look, you've been catching our attention. I'd love to sit down with you, take you for a coffee and run some numbers, put something on your radar. We're in real estate, we're salespeople. We love the idea of opportunity. Why don't you take a look at it and put on your radar in case your circumstances ever change. We actually do all this in our training, in our 95.5 rev share training. So I would definitely highly recommend tapping into that. But yeah, we're here to help you. I think that, and the second part, Dan, is it okay if I could probably announce it, right? The collab?
Absolutely. 100% you can.
Okay. So this is going to be for the new agents or newer agents out there. Back in November, I'm actually going to try. Actually, no, I'm not going to try turning on my camera in case it kicks me out. Back in November, I hired a gentleman by the name of Jason Samard. Jason is a very successful real estate coach. He helped me and my brother and us create our team. In fact, we had to bring on buyer's agents. And himself, the guy who does our lead generation, Eric Preston. This guy is a guru in lead gen, spends about $500,000 a month on Google pay-per-click ads for real estate lead gen. And then Jeremy, he is a high performance coach. I'm not going to get into all the details because I don't want to ruin the surprise. But at the end of the day, the easiest way to say this, all three of them come together and built a team of other key partners. And they're going to be offering, for no extra cost, no extra split, no extra upsell, no extra fees, full out live weekly mastermind coaching, live lead generation classes, 90-day build out plans for brand new agents of how to hit the ground running, bi-weekly planning sessions, business planning sessions with one of their coaches. And these other key partners are at least do 100+ deals a year or are 7-figure real estate income earners. And you're going to be able to jump on a call with them, ask questions. And by the time you get on and by the time you get off the call, you're going to have your weekly to-do list and your homework. And if you follow this roadmap, I promise you, you are going to be successful in it. So it's called the collaborative movement. It'll be sent out to everybody. And if you want more, reach out to Dan. He can bring you in the loop on it, but it is something that we're doing it out of abundance and giving back to a real estate career and industry that's given us a lot in return. So we're really very excited about it.
Yeah, perfect answer. And I think, James, further to Matt's point here, is that's exactly the mentality here with EXP, is when you do have this model where people benefit by other agent success, you truly just become an open book and you share and you give everything you have. And as someone who's now been with 3 different brokerages, this is so far and away better and exceptionally different than anything else that we've experienced, that, I can say firsthand that the level of support and collaborativeness, no pun intended, is phenomenal, and it'll really build your business up. And keep in mind, I mean, the collaborative movement, both Jason and Eric, this is somebody that myself and business partner Ryan on the call here, we were paying them to be our coach prior. That's how much we believe in them. And that's because we were with a different brokerage. And then when we moved over to EXP, they became free, if you will. And that was a huge game changer just to our bottom line, if nothing else, yet alone the fact that they doubled our business from 50 to 100 million in 2021.
And guys, I spoke with Jason yesterday, and his training program per agent is $25,000 a year to give you some value, right? And further to that, I think we're really just getting started here in terms of where this can go, right? Matt, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
And maybe you can just touch on it a little bit. What would you say the biggest objection you get from I want to be careful here because I don't want to say the word pitch. We're not pitching people, right? Mm-hmm. We're educating people, and so they learn. But I'm trying to, for the people on the call, I'm trying to understand, what do you think the biggest objection is, and how do you go about handling it?
Well, it depends. So it's a hard question, and it's not hard, but I mean, it depends on where that agent, why they're looking at EXP, right? Mm-hmm. If they're a 20-year veteran or if they're brand new. And I think what people have to really take a look at is, why is it these mega agents, these icon industry leaders in real estate are moving over to this company? And, it really comes down to, again, the agent value proposition, and the mentality that we are the first one blazing the path for a fully immersed cloud-based brokerage that is agent-centric. Mm. So, if, the saying, get comfortable at being uncomfortable, that's one of those situations where when I first started, people were like, EX what? Okay, right? Like, what are you talking about? Cloud-based? No. And so it took a bit longer. But as you start having adaption and people start seeing, oh my God, look at this team. For example, the #1 Keller Williams team in Canada, out of Toronto, Ontario, the Affinity Real Estate Group just merged with us a week and a half ago. Why is it they just merged their whole team over? Those are the questions you need to be asking. And yes, is it scary going to a cloud-based real estate brokerage? The #1 objection I get is, I want to go into an office. I wouldn't even say that's #1, right? But they just don't know, because EXP is more complex than a traditional real estate model, where you can walk into the office, meet the franchise owner, or I call them the landlords, right? And you can start renting there and selling real estate and building somebody else's dream. Whereas this model is built for the agent, not for one broker owner. And so #1 objection is office. And the thing is, technology has come so far. Like when we were getting together with agents more at doing fun activities in my local market than I was at my last brokerage. Mm. And my get together in my office was, a training. Well, a training I didn't even really want to attend because I had stuff that I didn't want to learn about. Whereas EXP, I go to the training schedule, I can find exactly what I want to learn about that day and attend.
So I guess one of the interesting things I've come across when talking about EXP to other agents is, the first thing you want to do as a real estate agent is tell everybody about how much they're missing out on. And I found out pretty quickly that that's maybe the worst thing that I could do in terms of trying to, and I've explained this to our own team on our own calls, that you can't tell somebody that they're drowning if they don't know they're drowning. So throwing them a life jacket isn't something they're going to put on. Right. So some of the discussion where we go from talking about attraction to actually bringing people over is that objection handling and making sure that it's introduced in the right way. And it sounds like what you're saying is have discussions with the people around you, and when there's interest, put them in touch with yourself or us and carry that motion forward, right?
Yeah, well, and success leaves clues, right? If you come over to EXP and with our collaborative movement in your first first year, bang out 20, 30, 40, 50 deals, guess what?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It's going to make you a believer. When I got my first, whatever, X amount of dollar a month monthly revenue share that I never seen that in a month selling real estate full time. Okay. That's going to make you a believer very, very quickly. And I don't recruit, I educate. I book the appointment. There's very aggressive people out there. That's just part of it. When you have a model like this, I get it, but I don't want to just bring on a bunch of agents and promise them a bunch of stuff and then have them leave. Like, what's the point of that? It's a waste of everybody's time. So we've done it properly by building the foundation. So we know and have the confidence that when new agents or experienced agents come to our team in particular, and we can offer them all these added bonuses above and beyond EXP, we know they're going to be set up for success. I just plant seeds and I just find out, how everybody wants to go from A.
Oh, Matt, did we lose you?
Oh, no. Mexican internet might have attacked him again. Yeah, I'll just add a bit to this as well, everyone. Because yes, it's a lot to take in, and especially for our newer agents or about to be new agents here, focus first on the fact that EXP is fantastic for new agents because of that level of training and being taught by the high level agents, and that's even outside of the whole collaborative movement and what they offer. So sure, the whole rev share thing, it may not interest you, and to be honest, when Ryan and I joined, it didn't interest us. We didn't come over for revenue share, not at all. We were like, we are client centric first, and we want to be high producing agents. Cool. That's where we were at. And then of course you start getting the stock for free that just kind of came out of nowhere, just for doing what you would do at any other brokerage anyway. So that came as a bonus. And then should down the road other agents get curious about what you're doing and just normally want to learn more, and they end up coming over into your downline, that's just a bonus. But don't think that you have to do that. In fact, 87% of agents with EXP don't participate in the rev share by choice. It's totally up to you. So again, don't want to drown you with too much info. Just know it's better to have multiple revenue options within your business, especially as a real estate agent, because life happens. And burnout happens. And, when's the last time you went to a realtor's retirement party? They don't exist, right? Realtors work themselves essentially into the ground. And that's just the reality of it. Do you know what I mean? There's no pension. You're running your own business. You have to create your retirement. And EXP has recognized that and offered that. And so again, be a successful producing agent first. And the other stuff is just a bonus and ready for you if you want it.
Yeah, it seems like to me that there's two sort of tiers to this. If you're a new agent, it's about joining and becoming a better agent. It's about refining your skills, going after the coaching and using the industry experts that are in your upline around you and getting that for free. Mm-hmm. And the second tier of it is if you're an experienced agent or you're growing a team or you're doing something to that effect, that there's other revenue share models that could benefit you as well. So as you grow, that's why it's great for people who start and for people who are already established, because there's something for everybody.
Can I pipe in? I was going to ask you guys, he was talking about a game plan, like a program that lasts about 3 years approximately, with the goal of 100 grand, and I think it was revenue share. Mm-hmm. Can you make sure to share that with everybody?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, he's here.
He's back.
Hey. Yeah. Hey, only twice in 50 minutes. That's not bad for down here. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Normally, anyways. Jesse with, I think it was Jesse who asked that question. So it's the 95.5 rev share training program. We'll definitely get that into your hands.
Cool.
And what just on a really quick baseline on that 95.5, this is what I did when I first started. 95% of my time was based on focused on selling real estate, high level of the service to my clients, referral business, all that stuff. 5% of my time I put on my broker owner hat. Because if you're new into real estate, you don't think about recruiting, you don't think about agent attraction, and that's fair enough. But if you were to go open up a team or start a team, or if you were to go open up your own brokerage, you put on your broker owner hat, you have to think about attracting agents. So I did 5% of my time, I put on my team leader hat. And in 3 years, introducing 5 agents per year, that grew into a team, I think at the time, of about 300 or 400 agents, and created a 6-figure passive income. And now we have dozens of agents on our team making 6 figures. So we have enough data to know. So that's what it was based off of. And that's
like half an hour a day, I guess, per working day.
Yeah.
Like 10-hour day.
Like, correct. Yeah. Like the way I did agent attraction. And when you get a part of the collaborative movement, you'll know that Jason Samard is big into time blocking.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just time blocked 2 hours a week. And all I would do was just reach out to some agents, very non-pressure, low key. And if I knew that they could do, probably have some coaching, if they could do this, if they would be an icon agent, if they may be looking at retiring, I just kind of reach out and see if they would be interested. And it wasn't difficult. But what I did when I first started was I used the people above me, and I used their stories, right? I got them on the call so that they could answer those tough questions or be able to make sure that they had the answers. So that's what we're in right now, is that situation. So let us help build your story. So that's what the 90. So we'll definitely get that over to you. Dan, I don't know if you have it or not, but I think you do, but I'll send it over again.
Please do.
If I can ask, you were saying that you brought on 5 agents a year was the goal. Over 3 years, that's only 15 agents, but I guess the downward effect turned into hundreds.
Yeah, I'll share with you exactly what happened, because it's on our new slide deck that we're launching.
Okay.
That's going to be a lot easier. So I introduced 4 agents in the first 6 months. 6 months in 2017, it turned to a team of 8. Now that was only about 4 months. Super excited, but I also thought I was going to have like 100 agents. Year 2, I introduced about 4 more. So I had 8, but the team grew into about 65.
Wow.
Year 3, I introduced 6 more. So I think I was at like 14 now, 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Went from 65 to about 400. The year 4, I introduced about 5 more. So it went to 21, but the team went from 400 to 800. And then I introduced 4 more, and the team went from 800 to now we're at 1575 or something like that. So it's basically
what's your
doubled.
Total first line? How many in your first line?
I have 28 now.
Wow. And that's over how many years, Matt?
About just under 5.
Crazy.
5 years.
That's the
5 years.
Exponential, literally. That's literally what it. That's the definition of it.
That, like, honestly, when I put out the slides, right, when I was putting them together, I was like, it got me fired up, because keep in mind, I got licensed in 2014. I joined EXP in 2017. I wasn't a 30-year veteran that did 200 million in volume. I was a decent agent, had a small team, but we were doing about maybe 200, 250 a year. Respectable, but not like a million or 2. I didn't have a lot of influence. I was a pretty low-key, easygoing agent. So when I looked at the numbers, I got super powerful. And I don't know who asked the first question about being a newer agent and putting agent attraction in your business plan. Just aim for 5 agents a year like I did. And this is what happens.
Were you really selective? Like when you're picking 5, you probably interviewed a lot. Were you selective with those 5? Did they have to meet certain criteria? Like, they got to be doing at least 10, 20 deals a year. They have to be ambitious. I don't know.
Yeah, no, great question. No, at the beginning, it was kind of whoever would sit down with me at the time, right? Would be I would be pretty thrilled to sit down with. But again, what EXP is so agile. Like if you're a veteran and looking to make a retirement income with a revenue share, this is perfect. If you're 5 years in the business and realize that you don't want to lease your brokerage anymore and you want to have some ownership when you're ready to retire and have some stock, it's perfect. If you're a brand new agent, we have the collaborative movement. We have 80 hours of live weekly training, your coaching, your upline support, people incentivized to keep you accountable. So what I did was I just was very agile with what I explained, what part of the EXP explained to that agent. So it didn't matter if they're brand new or a seasoned veteran. I also had no fear either. I called the number one agent in my market and I actually got him for coffee. Now he hasn't joined, but he's been watching me the last 4.5. He owns his own brokerage. He's been watching for the last 4.5 years. We've now met probably 4 times in those 4.5 years. And he's really starting to realize that this is the real deal, right? And 5% of your time, make some calls. And guys, whatever you do, don't spam email people. It makes us all look horrible, Not only does it make us look horrible, you'll get fired for it and terminated. So that's another reason. Sure. Use your relationships, bring value when you do agent attraction. And that's about it.
Matt, last question, or at least for me.
Sure.
So, I mean, for anyone who's done anything in terms of early adoption, people often feel like when they see numbers like yours that they've missed out. And so what can you do and speak to in terms of where the growth of the company is going, whether you think this is just getting started, are we late to the show? Provide some sort of context in terms of where we're at.
I am super excited to answer that question. And it's a great question, right? Because people see the stock, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was at, $2. And now technically it's at like $32 or $34 because it did a 2-for-1 stock split. So that's why it's showing 16. I was on a call this morning with Michael Valdez, the president of international expansion, because we just announced Dubai and what was the other one? Chile. But we're launching, we have the people there launching Costa Rica as help open up the Dominican Republic. We have Jamaica. We are an international, one big company, real estate brokerage and tech company. So what does that mean? What it means is that this is the way that my sponsor explained it to me. Matt, some people buy homes out of a trailer when there's just a farm field. They see the blueprints, they see the vision, but there's only a certain amount of people who will jump in at that time because of the unknowns. Okay, some people are going to buy when the first model home goes up, right? And some people are going to buy when the first subdivision is done. Some people are going to buy in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, and some people are going to buy resale. Where we are right now is probably about a phase 1, in my opinion. And this is why. A lot of people have heard of EXP, but not very few people have actually seen a proper EXP Realty presentation because they're getting their information from their current broker. And I always say, if you were going to go buy a Tesla, you would never go and ask Ford what they think about Tesla. And so when people start getting that accurate information and start running proper numbers, it becomes like a kind of a holy smokes moment. And so in that phase 1, 2, 3, I think we're just about getting to finishing phase 1, maybe halfway. Roads are in, but there's still construction. There's no grass on the lawn, because now we're starting to now see, for example, the number 1 Keller Williams team in Canada joined a week and a half ago. They probably wouldn't have joined 2 years ago. I probably wouldn't have joined 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I first started. Okay, now you're starting to see the big players come over because the franchise model just can't compete with this. Yeah. We are the largest disruption that's happened in real estate, and I call it, and it's part of the book we're writing. It's like being in the eye of the hurricane. majority of agents are in the eye of the hurricane right now, where it's nice and calm and in their little bubble and they're working in their desk and, you know, all that stuff. And what's happening on the outside is complete destruction. And that destruction is actually the regional level of a lot of these franchises. Because we've seen notes leaked about why not to join EXP. In fact, I just learned today from our broker record in Ontario that there was Remax corporate going to Remax offices and sharing with their agents why not to join EXP.
You know what's really funny about that, Matt? So I've been in discussions now for probably 8 months, well, more or less since I joined EXP, with a managing broker of Remax. And I met with him over dim sum over Christmas. And he told me he went down to a Vegas conference, a Remax Vegas conference, and the number one thing that they talked about was EXP. It used to be Keller Williams, and now they're talking about how to slow the bleed to EXP. And it's funny you say that, because I have no doubt that that's the kind of things coming out of those conferences. It's interesting.
Yeah, like for example, and I won't take up too much time because I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face, because it is what it is. But you know, Keller Williams, Gary Keller, when we had 6,000 agents in our company, Gary Keller at what's called the family reunion, their largest gathering, mentioned EXP Realty 22 times in his opening speech.
Wow.
He effectively became our number one recruiter. And now we're 80,000 agents because he saw what was going on.
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, but you know, it's kind of like this. You know, Blockbuster it couldn't even really happen. But Blockbuster Netflix example was the exact same thing. Blockbuster, you know, didn't want to have anything to do with Netflix, even though they had the opportunity to buy it. They then tried to do online stuff. Completely miserably failed, too late, way behind the ball, and Netflix became Netflix. That's what we're starting to see in the real estate industry. And the people, you know, I can't wait till we finish not just phase one, but phase two, phase three, we get into resale. And that's when we get into the resales, when we're going to see mass adoption. And mass adoption happens when newer agents, EXPs everywhere, and newer agents come in. One last thing, guys, for the more experienced agents on this, the number one thing that you'll get franchise owners saying to you are two things. I don't know if this is appropriate to go this way, but one, it's either a scam, pyramid, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly. Okay, so if you've heard that, last time I checked, you can't be a scam or a pyramid scheme on publicly trade on the NASDAQ with a valuation of $4.5 billion. Second, the biggest pyramid is the franchise model. You think that, you know, that money that you give to your franchise owner, you think that he's the one who just keeps it all? No, it goes to the regional owners, fail it, then it goes to corporate, and institutional investors benefit from that as well. It is a pyramid. Everything's a pyramid. You know, so the pyramid scheme thing is just old school. In fact, I see the benefit in it, because when you join EXP, you have now 7 people above you who are now specifically invested in your success. Go to any other brokerage and tell me 7 other agents at that office who want you to succeed and are willing to give you all their time and efforts and all of their goodies and tricks and tips to help you succeed. It doesn't exist because it's not the model. And yeah, I think that was really all my, unless there's any other.
Yeah, appreciate that, Matt. And this is an exact example, right? Matt's not getting paid to do this presentation. He's doing it for us for free because he's in the upline. This is the perfect vision of how EXP support levels work.
Sorry, I had a question.
D. Yeah, please, D.
Oh, yeah,
here's the last one.
With this model, with the RevShare program, obviously the agents above you do have an incentive to help you, but then how do they decide who would be acting as your managing broker?
Yeah, great question. And you'll learn how that works as you go through it. So this is how it works. So the managing broker has actually nothing to do with the revenue share. They're hired directly by EXP Realty corporate and paid on salaries with stocks and bonuses and all that stuff. So how it works is I'll use British Columbia, for example. There's one broker of record for the whole province. they kind of deal with higher level stuff, and anybody gets in trouble or lawsuits with clients or whatever. Underneath that broker record is all the managing brokers. So they are the ones, based on your geographical area, you're going to be designated a managing broker. And that person is laser focused on helping you with any questions you have. There to help you if you're in any trouble. And what's really cool is that if that managing broker, for whatever reason, is not available, you just call another British Columbia managing broker, because there's multiple. All right. And they're all, what's cool, they're fantastic. They all have experience. It's quite a vigorous vetting program or vetting process. So when you join EXP, then you'll be introduced to your managing broker, who will do the transaction side of things. Where this call is really from is just sharing EXP, answering obviously questions like that, which is a great question. But then we provide support specifically on this aspect of the business, on the agent attraction and showing agents and educating realtors.
Yeah, and D, I'm happy to get into any specifics with you on that as well. You are in BC, right? Yeah. Okay. So as a BC agent with EXP, I can tell you right now we have access to 6 managing brokers, and they also all live on what's called Workplace, which is Meta or Facebook's sort of community chat group, if you will, that EXP is the biggest global partner of, and they live in there as well. So you can ask a question. And again, my experience with 3 brokerages, I've never been more taken care of or replied to quicker than any other brokerage from my managing broker than EXP. It's phenomenal how quick they get back to you. And that's very important, especially as a new agent. But hey, you're only going to reach out to a managing broker when it's urgent. So when you hear back immediately, it's really vital, because I've been with brokerages that take weeks to reply, and that is a deal killer. So incredible support there from the managing broker level.
Thanks so much for answering that, guys.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, I think Matt, you can wrap it up.
Sorry, just one last question. I will, Sunny. I just saw your message in the chat. So our Metaverse World platform, it's our own platform. It's called Verbella, which is its own independent company. And Verbella, we rent this space out to Dell Computers, HP, Ford Motors, Harvard University, Stanford. So it's another revenue source for us, for the parent company. So it's called Verbella, VIRBELLA. And yes, I've been in some conversations with corporate about leading the future into virtual real estate, as well as into blockchain technology and cryptocurrency with regards to, we don't want to go too fast with that and scare people off, but we want to be the leading real estate brokerage that kind of paves that path for when consumers are also ready for it. So that's what I've been told.
Perfect. Awesome, Matt. Well, thank you so much today for your time, and everybody else here. Hope you learned a lot, and we are definitely here to answer any more of your questions. Please reach out to me or whoever invited you to this, and we're happy to walk through how EXP can help you and your specific business.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Cheers.
Nice meeting you guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Cheers, Matt.
Thanks again so much, Matt.
Thanks. You're welcome. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.